I'd like to welcome you to this video. My name is Chris Turner, and today what I'd like to talk about is a simple question that I get asked on a regular basis, and that is, can Lean Six Sigma really deliver results? Now, having completed several Lean Six Sigma programs myself, projects myself, and been involved in Lean Six Sigma, let me first clarify that I am actually a Lean Six Sigma black belt, and that I actually do like Lean Six Sigma and am not an opponent of Lean Six Sigma. So let me state that right up front. But over the years, I have to admit that I've seen many improvement systems come and a lot of them go too. Now every week there seems to be a new book that's introducing some new kind of buzzword or proposed new method for basically improving all of your business processes. Now the problem is, amid all the hype, there's a key question that any business owner really needs to ask, and that is, are any of these new systems really effective? So Lean Six Sigma really is one such process improvement system that's really getting a lot of hype, and that's been getting a lot of attention too, and it's driving companies to jump on what I consider to be the buzzword bandwagon. And so the question again is it really capable of doing what it's supposed to do? So this is my take on it, and this is where I stand with it. Each week I receive several calls from different companies and people alike, asking me about Lean Six Sigma training and how they can implement the Lean Six Sigma program in their organization to basically support their continuous process improvement. And the conversation always starts with a clear statement from the other person on the phone telling me that they want to implement Lean Six Sigma and develop a program at their organization. And then they ask me if I can help them to achieve this goal. So my response to the inquiry is simply this, well, what are you trying to achieve by doing this? Now at that point, usually there's silence at the end of the phone, because now people are in deep thinking or deep levels of thought to try and figure out what I just said. And then after a few moments, what I hear is, well, what do you mean? What are we hoping to achieve by implementing a Lean Six Sigma program? Don't we want to improve our business process and cut costs? Isn't that what Lean Six Sigma is supposed to do? So as you can see at this point, the person's really absolutely convinced that the Lean Six Sigma program is going to improve their processes and cut their costs. In other words, they've already made their mind up. The problem here is that neither of these statements are guaranteed, that is, process improvement or cutting costs, when you implement a Lean Six Sigma program. Now at this point, most people are going, wow, and their jaws are dropping, basically because they don't believe what I've just said. So let me try to explain what I mean here. When you start to delve into the reasons why most companies want to implement a Lean Six Sigma program, it's usually because they've had a conversation with somebody, or they've heard other organizations that have used the system, and then they're convinced that they need it to stay competitive. However, after an in-depth analysis of their current business operating system, what you find is that they don't need it at all. And so the question here is, most people ask me, well, why is this? Why would you say that? Well, it's because they don't have the internal capabilities to develop the right kind of infrastructure to support the implementation of a full-blown Lean Six Sigma program. You see, in order to do this, they need to have a high level of internal discipline, and most companies really don't have that level of discipline to be able to support that kind of infrastructure. And Lean Six Sigma, by definition, can be a very hierarchical structure, with all the different belt structures and different levels of expertise and specialists throughout all the organization, yellow belts, green belts, black belts, master black belts, and all this stuff, that goes with it. But what the analysis shows is that they really need something that will get them focused on improvement and then deliver fast results, Well, I can tell you from experience that Lean Six Sigma is not necessarily the way forward, because if you're looking for fast results, Six Sigma is not usually the way to do it, because the data collection process, training, the level of expertise that's required, unless you're using an outside consulting company, is going to take some time. And so what I really then advise people to do is, what you really need to start to do is introduce lean principles, which are very easy to teach with some basic problem-solving tools. Now, to do anything else other than this would be like trying to crack a walnut using a sledgehammer. And it would probably be a clear case of overkill to do anything else. You're really extending the capabilities and building in complexity into the system that really the organization is not capable of dealing with. So really you've got to start from that point. And what I can say is that from my point of view, with the companies that I've worked with over the years, about 90% of companies that are trying to implement Six Sigma or Lean Six Sigma program really don't need it. They need something a little simpler, a little easier. And I know at this point in the conversation, most people are tuning out and they've stopped listening to what is considered my heretic ramblings. You know, most people at this point are basically saying, how dare you say such a thing as what you're saying? That's just not true. But the point is it is true. There is levels of complexity in terms of the knowledge that's required by certain individuals within the organization to support the knowledge base and also the infrastructure to maintain the continuous process improvement system or program or whatever it is you're going to call it over the long term. It just doesn't happen by magic. Somebody has to go do stuff and do things in order to sustain that. But here's what I think. I'll go back to Professor Ishikawa. He was the father of quality circles, and I'm willing to be led by what he said. And he said this: 95% of all process problems can be solved using the 7 basic quality tools. Now, these are simple to teach and they're easy to use. These are very basic problem-solving tools that you can teach anybody within a couple of hours. And with a bit of oversight, they would implement them very easily. So what are these 7 tools? Well, number 1 is the cause and effect diagram, which is also known as the Ishikawa diagram, or more popularly known as the fishbone diagram or chart. Number 2 is a check sheet. Number 3 is a control chart. Number 4 is a histogram. Number 5 is a Pareto chart. Number 6 is a scatter diagram. And number 7, in the original 7, was stratification, but sometimes this is replaced by a run chart or a flow chart, or even some people replace it with a value stream map. So at this point, if you go beyond the hype and you rethink your real desire in terms of what you're trying to do and why you want to implement a Lean Six Sigma program, you might be rethinking your improvement program of choice. There are easier ways to get fast and positive results, and it doesn't need to be a complex system that takes a lot of training and getting people up to a certain standard before they're capable of running with the program. The biggest single problem that I see is really time. Time is against most companies, and for them to be able to invest the time, the energy, and the people, is a lot of small companies don't have that level of resources available to just take 10 people out of their system and train them, or to have them doing other things other than their normal job. And I know people will probably disagree with what I'm saying, but the reality is that is the truth. In most companies, you know, when I go to train with people and I say, well, I'd like to get you people for 5 days, they go, wow, that's no way, that's impossible. So the reality is there, and we have to live in the real world and basically work with the smaller companies. You've got to have something that's easy to fit into their normal day-to-day operations, and you can train people on the go. And lean principles, in my opinion, are tried and tested over the years, and they work really well. So this is the easiest way to get fast and positive results in the shortest possible time. and then we can put away the sledgehammer and focus on really trying to achieve the best results that we can get out there in the shortest possible time. I'd like to thank you for listening to the video. Always love your feedback, always enjoy hearing the feedback, good, bad, ugly, whatever it may be, and enjoy your lean journey.